Hi, welcome to the module on fear and also on rational thinking. We all fear something or the other, right? I've not seen anyone without fear. Some people have fear of flying, fear of failure, fear of losing people. We all live with these fears. But what if I told you all these fears are manageable? Some stories I can tell you from my personal experiences, some case studies I'm going to share with you, which will help you understand how to overcome fears or how to at least manage them. Let's go to our story number one. I don't know how many of you have heard of this brand called the Spanx. It's a very popular brand. It's over $1 billion company. But I want to share the story of Sarah Blakely, who started the company. And she had absolutely no experience. She just knew that she had this beautiful idea of footless pantyhose. Because where traditional pantyhose have feet in it, but she came up with a brilliant idea of footless pantyhose. Now, she had this idea, she knew it would work, she'd done her research, but she had no idea how to run a business, how to contact a manufacturer, what to do. So, because she'd never run a company, any rational voice would say that she'd fail. But or um, instead of fighting her fears, what she did was she tried to see what can she do today which will help her move one step forward despite her fear. So what she started doing was she started making phone calls to manufacturers. And because she was not from the industry, she was asking them naive questions. But 20 people said no, you know. But then what she realized was the fear of rejection was way smaller than fear of regret. Right? And remember this. I want you to remember this. I want you to think about this. The fear of rejection was much smaller than fear of regret. I have lived by this statement in all the startups that I've done. So I told you I've been very impulsive with my startup decisions. I don't expect everyone to be like that because my second startup in the e-commerce space didn't do well, and that was a very impulsive decision. And I took on a challenge which was very big for me with my limited resources, my limited team. I should have given it a little more thought, but I straightway jumped into it because I thought, okay, it was a great idea. And yeah, this is the time to do it. We were ahead of our times. We were building something which was something like Shopify, uh, but less complex. Uh, we didn't know who our exact buyer is going to be, right? So when you have half knowledge and you jump into an idea, you're bound to fail in those ideas. But the only reason why I jumped into certain ideas was that I would accept failure, but I will not accept regret. What if this would have done very well? I would have told myself a different story. But that's for another day. So when she finally found a manufacturer, she discovered her weakness, which was actually her strength. Like I told you, she was constantly asking very naive questions to all these manufacturers because she didn't come from the fashion industry background. She was very new to this whole business. But this is exactly what led to the breakthrough insights. So one manufacturer said yes, and that call led to Spanx being a $1 billion company. Her lack of industry knowledge became her superpower. She asked better questions that solved real problems. You know, how, why, when, what. All of these questions led to her success. Fear means you're close to something important. So don't eliminate fear. Act wisely while afraid. And one of the takeaways from there are two takeaways from this story from me. When you fear something, figure out one thing that you can do to move ahead irrespective of the fear that you have. right? And the second point is, you know, rejection versus regret. What is more important to you? I'm going to share some more points regarding this particular aspect. So let's understand fear. So, what happens is our brain does not understand physical fear or mental fear. It treats both the same way and it reacts the same way, right? So, it'll close down immediately, or it'll act some, or it'll give you some other way to act. But it does not take you beyond your fear. So, you have to practice that. So fear of failure, rejection, survival, all of these are seen as same as physical threats to the brain, right? And fear of starting a business feels like life or death situation for your primitive brain because our brain is still primitive. But understanding fear's purpose helps you work it out and not work against it. So let the fear exist, but always see how you can move ahead in spite of that. So, fear is normal, expected, manageable with the right tools. And we will now, through the next story, learn how to manage uh, your fears.